Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and continue.
Your default attitude towards everyone should be of some cynicism. And that does not preclude the possibility of compassion. How can you be compassionate towards someone if you do not know his reality? Yes, there will be compassion between me and the scorpion. But I will know very well that the scorpion is physically configured to bite.
It's an interesting saying. How can you be compassionate to someone if you don't know their reality? It's the way I took that was the fact that how we tend to judge YouTubers based on what little we know about them. You have the YouTube's persona on YouTube, but that's about it. That's a small portion of their life. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of them tend. I generally don't notice actually. I'd hope a lot of them tend to. The way they act on YouTube is the way they act in real life. The way I act right now is generally the way I act in real life. I don't know if it's really any different, but it's pretty close, if any different. So, but it's true though. We tend to be judgmental of people even though we don't know much about them or their realities, as they say. Yeah. I mean, it is part of human nature, but at the same time, this is something that I also had to realize myself is the fact that I don't know much about a lot of people. That includes in real life too. So and what you hear on the news and what you hear just in general, what you experience in life, you don't know if you don't know much about it. I understand and acknowledge that. So you try not to be too, and it's going to quote, judgmental to that person. And what I mean by that is just that you don't assume a person to be what you think they are, and especially in a negative manner if you don't really genuinely know much about them.
Man too is physically configured just to bite. But we regale ourselves. We hold a totally unrealistic, bloated, and very marvelous image of ourselves. God, man made in his own image. No, the chimpanzees made us in their own image, obviously. Never be surprised when you find somebody acting mean. We are supposed to act mean. In fact, you should be surprised when you find somebody not acting mean. A Krishna or a Kabir is an impossibility. Improbable to the extent I am calling him improbable, impossible. Probability tending to zero. But we say, oh, I'm so surprised that fellow tried to fob me off. You should be surprised when somebody does not try to cheat. And if you have too many people in your life who you think are good, then you are heading towards disaster. Because very soon you will be shocked. Come to learn of yourself and come to learn of others.
Ooh, I kind of took that perhaps the wrong way, or one way, which is not the right way, I think. Saying if you find yourself surrounded by too many good people, you'll become shocked. And I guess I took that to find out that those good people may be bad. maybe that is one way of interpreting. It is one way of interpreting, but I don't know if this is the way he meant. But after thinking about it a little bit, it could also mean, even though you're actually surrounded by good people, when you come out to the real world, you'll find out that the real world doesn't have too many good people like that. I tend to believe most of the world's good, and what I mean by good is that they don't bother you. It's a very low standard. I think I said this in the last video. Essentially, yeah, most people are good. They don't care about you. They're not supposed to. They don't know you, but they don't care enough about you to harm you in such a way. It's not they don't. It's not the fact that they care enough about you to say hello. No. So most people just mind their own business, and to me, that's fairly good. It's neutral, to be honest, but good. You know, if you don't want to be bothered, they're not going to bother you. They're not trying to harm you, so that's a good metric for me that like they're genuinely good. Unless they want to harm someone, then it's a different story. So the two ways I kind of took that was the fact that the people that you're surrounded by, the good people that you're surrounded by, could turn on you, or you have this good group of people, then you come out to the real world and realize that people in the real world aren't like the good people that you know. It's not to say that they're bad per se, but maybe they're not just as good as the people that you know. But it also could mean the bad part too, because if you've not experienced bad people, then you're going to come up with a surprise. There's people who will cheat and do things behind your back.
Before you meet a crushing shock, nobody is good. You are not good, others are not good, I am not good, nobody is good. Oh, he is talking so negatively. What a pessimistic view he holds of humanity. I'm not pessimistic, I'm just realistic.
Well, you don't know. That is a bit pessimistic. Realistic, I think. There are bad people, yes. I think most people tend to be in a neutral, not good, not bad. They don't care about you. That doesn't mean they're bad, and they just want to be left alone for the most part. They want to do their thing, whatever that is, and maybe they want to be friends with you. Who knows? Maybe they want to take advantage of you and use you. You know, who knows too. uh, I think I'll call them out maybe on that. I don't genuinely believe people is just negatively bad. I think they're mostly neutral. But there are obviously bad people and there's obviously good people in the world.
I'm telling you who you really are. And then I'm inviting you to rise above yourself, to not to be yourself.
That's weird. I'm sorry I say and pause a lot, but he does say a lot of things that make you think, and I like to interpret these things a little bit. So it's weird to say don't be who you are, but I've always acted the way I am, especially after Advaita Vedanta. It's so much easier to just to be who you are because I don't have to pretend to be something else that I'm not. Now I think I know what he's saying here, and I'm wondering if he's going back to more of our animalistic nature, where we do anything to survive. We'll cheat, we'll punch, we'll fight, we'll do whatever it takes to survive, which is our natural instinct is to fight to survive. Because throughout human history since the beginning, we've had to fight. It's only until recently where we're no longer necessarily having to fight to survive. We changed it to working. So I'm wondering if he means it that way. Then I understand what he's saying, because yes, we also group up in tribes or small I forget what the technical terms are. Just basically small tribes of people. And within this tribe, we have to be friendly with each other because we depend on each other for survival. Or sometimes even people who sneak in or people who are within the group will also backstab the group so that they can get the advantage to maybe become the king of the group, or to steal from the group so they can go to another group, you know?
That's why I love people who expose their meanness, their cruelty, their blind desires without compunction. My problem is with people who pretend and project goodness. By the time you hit 15, you should have come to a clear realization that goodness does not exist by nature. That goodness is something that can come only when you diligently cultivate it. It should have been clear. And when it becomes clear, then you do not fall prey to all kinds of deceivers and manipulators who pretend to be good. Let me give you one more reason, a final one, why we are deceived by others. I'll tell you why.
I wish you would give an example. By the age of 15, you should realize this. Hold on, let me rewind that part.
Does not exist by nature. That goodness is something that can come only when you diligently cultivate it.
So I think of the things that I've learned on YouTube. They say that there's reasons the way we act, the reason why there's this hierarchical thing with males because we need a leader, and we tend to follow that leader because it's much easier to steer a boat if there's only one person steering the boat instead of 10 people trying to navigate one boat. We'll be all over the place. And also the fact that that leader, so long as he brings us success, we will follow the leader because we're being fed. Talking in the past, and women, I believe from what I remember was they'll cooperate and be nice to each other because they need to make sure that whenever they become vulnerable, that they can depend on other people. It's really kind of weird to say it that way. But I could see perhaps what he means by that is that we're not naturally nice because we are selfish, perhaps. Again, for women, they want to be nice to other people so that they get the benefit from that. It's like, I'm being nice to you, so therefore you must be nice to me. And because I'm nice to you, whenever I'm vulnerable, I depend on you to take care of me because I'm nice to you. And much the same thing with the males too, is the fact that I'm the leader. I've given to you, so therefore, and I'm successful. And if I'm successful, I raise everyone else up with me, generally speaking, and therefore that's a different kind of kindness, I guess you could say, like a charity, I suppose, but still kindness in probably some sense, and therefore. And hope that you remember me whenever I become old and frail, that you come and take care of me. But yeah, I see that a little bit in terms of our tribal nature. I'm wondering if that's what he means by that, because it's weird to say that niceness or goodness is something that's cultivated.
It should have been clear. And when it becomes clear, then you do not fall prey to all kinds of deceivers and manipulators who pretend to be good. Let me give you one more reason, a final one, why we are deceived by others. I'll tell you why. And I'll give you an example that does not personally apply to you, so, nobody will be offended. You're single, right? Yes. So, that fellow believes in a particular political ideology, speaks in a particular way, goes to the church or temple every Saturday or Sunday, I like that fellow. That fellow must be good. Why? He exhibits a particular temperament. He holds a particular ideology. He behaves in a certain way. He has to be good. And then I come and say, but there is so much evidence that the fellow is not good. And you'll be very reluctant to admit that evidence. Let me tell you why. Because that fellow is just so much like your husband or your father. If you admit that that fellow is a rascal, you'll have to admit that your husband or your father too is a rascal.
That's interesting. I would have made the assumption that the reason why you don't believe it right away is because it's the evidence that I don't know what kind of evidence he's showing. I don't know whether it's video evidence or just him saying he seen this person do it. One reason why I wouldn't believe him was because, well, assuming that he just told me, it's like, yeah, he's a punk, he's a rascal. I'd be like, that's not the experience that I've seen. It's really weird to compare him up to your father or your husband or your wife. I would not compare him to that. I'd compare him to what are good deeds in the world, what are good things to be done, not to someone in particular. Is that something that's normally done over there? I'm just wondering. It's not. I don't know if I wonder if anyone else does that. Actually, I've never done that. I've always done things like, okay, he's done good things that are good. But then again, I guess it's good things that what I believe to be good. So I would say, like, yeah, he goes to church every day. He worships. He donates to the church. He helps the poor. I experience these things, but then you come over here and tell me, oh no, he's a rascal. He's a bad person. I'm like, what you say and what I see are two different things. It goes back to one of the philosophies of Hinduism, which is the I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one basically you must witness it. You only believe what you witness with your own eyes, essentially, with your own experience. While what I would do is I would take in consideration what he says. Like, okay, obviously I'm not with this person the entire day. Could he be bad outside the segments that I see this person in? Yes, that's very much a plausibility, but it's not matching up with what I see. So I will consider what he says. It's a possibility, but I would not take it as fact until I witness it myself. But again, it's really weird to say that. Why would you compare it with your husband or father? It's really, really weird. Because your husband and your father is not that person. You would judge every individual individually, not based on someone else. I would assume.
And that's why we keep on giving green chits to all kinds of brutes. Else you will be guilty of double standards, hypocrisy. Are you getting it? Kapoor uncle next door has to be a good man. Why? Because he is such great friends with your father. And then Kapoor uncle gropes and tries to molest, and then you are shocked. Why are you shocked? Because first of all, you thought that Kapoor uncle is a good man. And why is Kapoor uncle supposed to be good? Because he is friends with your father. In fact, he resembles your father so much. Why can't you accept that your father too is a brute? Because you draw so much from your father.
Whoa, that's a bit much there. You can't. I hope he explains a little bit here, but you can't, because of what the uncle's done, you suddenly just blame the entirety of the family. I kind of get what he's trying to say there, Or the sheer fact that, like, if the father knows that the uncle's doing this and he accepted it, then yes, I 100% I can see that. But that doesn't mean that the father does in fact know what the uncle's doing. I mean, then you have to blame the mother because the mother married the father, and then you have to blame the children because the children are, part of the family, and then maybe you have to blame the friends because they hang out with you, and then whoever they hang out with, you blame them too because they're in conjunction with you. It's a bit much, I would say. I hope he explains a bit more.
Because there is an inheritance to be had, an identity to be had, security to be had. Therefore, you will never want to accept that your father is an animal. And if your father is not an animal, then Kapoor uncle is also not an animal. So you will trust Kapoor uncle and be molested. And we do not realize that all fathers are Kapoor uncles to other women.
Whoa, all fathers? Holy crap. Now, please explain this to me. I must be missing something here. To just blanket all fathers that are molesters, essentially. Is it not what he said here?
And we do not realize that all fathers are Kapoor uncles to other women. Kapoor uncle too is a father to his own daughter. But to somebody else's daughter, he is Kapoor uncle. Your best friends, your idols, if they share traits, even the great gods that you worship, if they display the same traits as some of the worst human specimens you can see, will you be able to freely call those specimens the worst? Because if you accept that those specimens are not fit to be called humans, you will have to accept that the gods you worship, that they too are not fit to be called even humans, let alone gods. And by gods, I do not mean just mythological gods. Power, pelf, prestige, these two are gods. People keep giving benefit of doubt to everyone. No, no, no. No, no, no. The world is good. The world is good. If somebody is not coming to the Gita, he must be having some genuine problems. You know why you want to extend benefit of doubt to that person? Because you too are exactly like that person. You are not favoring that person. You are favoring yourself. That fellow dropped out of Gita, he must be surely having some genuine family and financial problems. You know why you want to be sympathetic to that person? Because you too are inwardly harboring plans of dropping out from Gita. If you are sympathizing with the evil, that is only because you too have the evil lurking within. And when you sympathize with the evil, will you call the evil as evil? No. Then the evil will be named as goodness. And then this goodness will stab you in the heart. And then you will come running, oh my God, something totally unexpected has happened. What unexpected? What unexpected? Be very, very cautious of people who have a very high opinion of humanity.
Uh-oh, that's me, I think. I'd say that too. Be cautious of me anyway, but I would kind of feel sorry for even those, to some degree, to I won't say evil people, people who have done bad things. There are evil people in the world. I do believe Hitler to be one of them. Do I feel compassion to Hitler? To some degree, because whatever had happened to him in that life for him to do those insane things had to be pretty bad. Maybe nothing really bad happened to him. I don't know. Maybe he was just absolutely insane. And for an insane person, I felt sorry for him. That doesn't mean I want to be evil, but good lord, I wish Hitler had grown up. I don't know. I don't know how Hitler grew up anyway. I'm saying that word a lot. As H grew up, I don't know whether he had a happy life or not. It didn't seem like it. Like I said, I could understand why he could rose to power. It was the Allies like freaking bankrupting Germany, and Germany crying out for help, and well, H answered the call. So again, it's not to say it's entirely H's fault, but the Allies kind of pushed the him to that point, or push the needle to that point, because without the Allies, I don't believe H would have gained that power. But anyways, you can feel some compassion to certain people who've done bad things, because sometimes, they did it out of them just losing themselves for the moment. There are schizophrenic people out there who can't control their behavior because they just snap sometimes. There are people out there who are, how do I say, not mentally there, who has done bad things, not because they intended it to happen, but because it happened. How, I don't know. It's like there are some people who have like a mental issue that are quite strong, are very strong in a lot of cases. But anyways, I can feel compassion to those. That doesn't mean that, oh, I'm going to be evil and do the exact same thing. So again, I'm a little bit confused on there, where if you feel compassion towards someone, that means you have that evil in you. If someone could explain that part so I could better understand Acharya here, what he means by that.
Who keep on saying the world is a great place, the world is a good place. Those who have known man and life have said the world is a cage. The world is suffering. And then there are the positive types who keep saying, oh, life is bliss, life is benediction. Then surely Gautam the Buddha was a fool when he said, Sarvam Dukham, life is suffering. If people are born free and great, then surely all the sages were idiots when they said life is bondage. Anybody who has not paid respect, genuine respect to self-knowledge, does not deserve your respect. And if you will offer respect to such a person, be ready for surprises. Very nasty surprises.
Geez, self-knowledge. That is something that's not thought around the world, though. You like there are good people out there who may have not learned about self-knowledge. I mean, I'm not saying there's a lot of them. I'm just saying I wouldn't doubt there are some people out there who never really cared about self-knowledge, but they're genuinely good people. Again, not saying there's a lot. I don't know how many there are. There may be none, for all I know. I'm just saying the amount of people here, there's bound to be one, I hope. At least one. And I'm wondering if this is just he's talking about this in a different context, because I mean, for me, I do believe in giving a certain level of respect to people, because in order to get respect, you have to kind of show a little bit of respect. It's not saying you give them a lot of respect. You give them a certain level of respect, and from there, their actions determine whether you give them more or less respect. Now you can respect them for certain things, like he may be an awful father, and he knows this, so he tries to stay away from his children, which is terrible. But at the same time, he could be a very humane person, as in he donates to charities and stuff, just because he feels that he needs to repent for what he's done. So he donates to, like, Make a Wish Foundation, Cancer Society, and all these kinds of things. He's troubled by his own actions, and don't get me wrong, it's like a lack of self-reflection. But he tries to do good in the best way he knows how, because obviously, Advaita Vedanta is not all over the world. Um, maybe the Bible didn't work out for him, or maybe whatever it is that he tried, maybe AA didn't work out for him, or whatever the case may be. You know, you can't expect every single person in this planet to have experienced Advaita Vedanta or the Gita as he speaks of here. You know, and you say it's like, well, it's his fault. You can blame him for it, but if he does, he's never heard of it, then how can you blame him for that? You know, um, you can say that he may not seek it, or I'm sure he has, but he doesn't, like, how do I say? Obviously, we have some part we can blame. Everyone has a little bit of blame on them for certain things. Like, if he's troubled, he needs to seek help. He has sought help, but he probably didn't seek well enough, obviously. But again, it's that part we can blame him for that. But at the same time, I don't know where I'm going at with this, but he's in a sense trying to be a good person. Again, not in the best possible manner, but he's trying his best. And without him knowing about self-reflection or self-knowledge, it's going to be very difficult. I would have, again, compassion for that person, because he struggles in life, and he's suffering in life, obviously, and he's trying to repent for his actions by donating, or trying to do good where he can, and by staying away from his children, or donating to charities and such.
Yes.
So, Acharya, I think this part I follow because I'm with you for last 2 years. So I think I started to understand, and I completely agree with you that life is suffering. And but my question is more around when we go and operate in the world, right? Because we will have some activities, some engagement. And this is where I think my question more is, because 2 years ago, why I came to you like 2 years ago was because I was battling suicidal depression, because from my workplace, and I could see a lot of corrupt practices against which I had actually stood up, and I failed, not failed, but I drew the battle. So they offered me some money, and I left it on the table because that was not right, and I wanted my voice back. So that's how Gita started, and that's how even my position in the battle itself literally changed, because I put all the stakes on the table, which were more, let's say, tangible or something one can count. And I it was a exit from that, that place. And I think I somehow was able to at least see the depth of corruption. And I'm not saying that I am an expert on this, but at least I could witness some parts myself. So now this doesn't come as a surprise as much. But my challenge now, it's like 2 years, but my challenge is, how do I go back and operate in the world which is more effectively? Of course, I will not never be, let's say, a Buddha or a, but I think at least to improve my own self and my own, uh, how do I manifest and express and utilize my life going forward? So that's where I think I see that it's still a challenge, because it's hard to find a place, and it's hard to, yeah. And when I encounter such things, then I lose my time. Some days I'm just thinking on this.
Are you
So
talking about a vocation, finding a profession, a workplace?
yes, that too, but even, yeah, even that, for example. So
What else?
Yeah, because I'm kind of lost in what she's trying to say there. It sounds like she was looking for work, and my statement would have been for that one is the like it looks like she's struggling internally with what she's seen and witnessed and realized that the world is corrupt in some degree, of course, and that she doesn't want to be partake in that. And it's clearly she said she left. I guess they tried to give her hush money or tried to give her money and let her leave or whatever. So the only thing I can really say in terms of at least that, from what I understand from there, is the sure fact that um, understand where your moralities lie, where your beliefs lie, and don't be so rock hard on your beliefs. Let them be a little bit fluid. And what I mean by that, I don't mean don't just change every single day. When you formulate your beliefs, make sure it stands strong against every, how to say, every attack, as I like to call it. Like when I formulate a belief, I try to attack my own beliefs genuinely, because if I can destroy it, then what's the point of believing it? Because it's destroyed. It crumples very easily under even my own scrutiny. If I could make it stand against my own scrutiny, then it's like, okay, it might stand a chance. Wouldn't mind saying it out there, saying what my beliefs are, and people to challenge them to try to break down my beliefs. Mind you, whenever I question my beliefs, I do try to break it down, and every time I fail to do that, it makes my belief stronger. So, by you making a statement that would normally potentially break it down, but because of the certain questions that I've asked, may not quite break it down just yet, because it's not quite the full answer I'm looking for to break down my own belief. So that means that if my belief doesn't just automatically crumble, it means I've at least thought about it. And if you said something that's very interesting, and I say, wow, I will actually have to think about that one and have to see how it interacts with my beliefs. You might have just destroyed that belief, but I have to really think about it. That's something that's very, you need to be open and fluid about, as in, don't be afraid. Hopefully people shouldn't be afraid to voice their opinion and have their beliefs challenged. The problem is that there are people out there who believe in what they believe, never question their beliefs, and when their beliefs are attacked, they crumble and just start calling you names and stuff because they have no arguments for it. It's so stupid. People just believe in what they want to believe in, and that's it. They don't want to think about it. They just say, I believe in that, and that's all. So, for her, I would say, find out your beliefs and morals, because clearly it's a moral thing too. So your beliefs and morals, have a foundation on that, and then make sure that the things that you do follow those beliefs and morals. They're not in conflict with that. If they're not, then you're essentially good. Because that's what it seems like she's struggling here, where she said she found corruption. Those goes against her morals or beliefs, and she struggled with that. So, having a strong foundation in your morals and beliefs, and then working jobs that at least follow them or don't conflict with them, then you should be pretty good. And then, again, to build that moral or belief foundation, just keep it up, keep it going, and build it up even stronger. Have more morals and beliefs that you have out there that you built because it's made out of stone or steel, because you question it so much that there's no way someone can break that down.
I think pretty much that. So basically, I have not finalized on what should I do next. I'm like briefly working with a sustainable startup, but I think that's also not something which is good enough for me now. So, but wherever I interact and engage with people, and then I see, okay, it starts on some value system, but soon, you encounter some of the nitty-gritties, and you see the same stuff. Oh, it doesn't surprise, but it has definitely become a challenge. So that's the only thing I wanted to say, that how do you navigate?
I'll, I'll not console you here. It's next to impossible to find a workplace that's not working towards an overt or covert animalistic purpose. It could be a top-notch investment bank. It could be strategy consulting. or it could be a slaughterhouse. They are all much the same.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to just entertain you by saying, you keep searching and you'll find a good place. That's were that possible, I would have entered such a place and happily served that place my entire life. It's not that I was intoxicated with the idea of starting something.
I mean, he is though. He started this, and he's serving this for, I'm assuming, the rest of his life. Happily served that place for an entire life. I mean, I'm assuming this is it right here. You found it, I believe, unless he's unhappy here, which I don't think so. I would find great joy if Acharya here is making great strides in teaching young people to be thinkers and to have a deeper understanding of their true self or self-reflection or self-knowledge. That's very much lacking in the world. Then he's found a job. How can you say that, Acharya? A place that
And happily served that place my entire life. It's not that I was intoxicated with the idea of starting something. First of all, I tried to figure out if there is something already existing in the world,
okay.
something that I could approach and
Be a
humbly
part
serve.
of.
And I think I can honestly say I tried to find such a place with all the purpose and intelligence of a young man. I didn't find any place. So I had to start.
Well, there you go. I was going to say that, again, if there's no place out there like that, work at a place that is at least close to what you believe, and then when you're able to start your own business. Acharya, I want to say he started a business. I don't know if he did start a business or if this is a business or not, but clearly he started speaking for the Gita. So, and he has followers.
You too will probably need to start something of your own.
Yeah,
This world is not a place where you will get easy avenues, ready-made places. Maybe not entirely impossible, but highly improbable.
Although I will say the sad truth in the matter of what Acharya here says, though, it's what he said. See, 446.
wherever I
Wait.
It's next to impossible to find a workplace that's not working towards. It could be strategy consulting, or it could be a slaughterhouse. They are all much the same.
So essentially saying, almost in what I assume here, is that he's saying like basically the top of the jobs to the bottom of the jobs. Strategy consulting versus say a slaughterhouse are all essentially the same. Meaning that when she starts her own business, her business is going to be the same as those two. Which goes back to the fact that what he said earlier, where she's bad, people are bad, and he's bad. Everyone's essentially the same as well, including himself. So it's kind of weird to say that in order for you to find something that matches your views, but then at the same time here say that you're going to end up being the exact same as everyone else, which is what you struggled with your views. It's like you start your business to create your own views, but then your business is going to be like everyone else, which would then corrupt your business, and which would then go against your views again. Hopefully you understand what I mean by that. 46 was it?
Highly improbable. Yes, people will talk of their social responsibilities and their divine purposes. We as a social media company exist to facilitate great conversations so that mankind can be liberated. we know what you exist for. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So you don't go by their vision and mission statements and such things. No great workplaces exist.
Couple of years when I was going through, I think that's when the decision, at least that time, it was clear that it's better that I stop at least giving my effort, because I could see that my efforts are very dangerous in all aspects. So, but the best I could do was that, okay, now I see and I don't unsee and I just stop it. That was the only in my hands that time. But since then, I'm striving and let's see. But thank
One has
you.
to create an alternate world of our own. Do not expect to fit in the pre-existing worlds. If you fit in, then you will have to go by the rules of the pre-existing type. You'll have to, if you want to live a life of freedom, then you have to realize that the default is bondage, which means you will have to start afresh, create anew. At least that's my experience. I couldn't find much purpose in the way the world currently is, and so I had to go through this tiresome but necessary journey of doing what I'm currently doing.
Yeah, even seeing
You
your
have
journey, honestly, it's very scary. So,
I agree.
it is very scary.
Why is it scary? Hold on. Why is it scary? What does that mean? Why is it scary?
But thank you, Acharya, because if you were not there, I think 2 years ago I decided that I would physically exit, honestly.
Come on, don't be childish.
So,
Drop all that.
yeah, I mean,
Drop all that. If one has to perish, why not go down fighting? Huh?
yeah, I did put up a good fight. I think when I met you, only after that, the whole, I think, philosophy of fight itself changed.
Yes.
So I'm very glad that I at least came out with a draw, but of course I could not win it anyway. So
See, one would always be smaller when it comes to resources and all compared to the vastness of evil that
oh yes.
that obfuscates this earth. Huh? One would always be a little thing. One would never have the odds in her favor. But still, the choice to give it a good fight is always available. Punch above your weight and above your height. Give them a bloody nose before you're knocked out. Obviously, you will be knocked out. One day, you will be knocked out, I'll be knocked out. But before I'm knocked out, I'll छोटा पैकेट बड़ा धमाल.
Very scary it is, but yes.
It's not scary, it's fun. It's fun. Is it not fun to punch above your weight? Glory for you.
Fear, to be honest. I had layers of fear and yeah.
No fear, nothing. What are you afraid of? You are anyway not going to be there for long, right? Nobody is here for long. So as long as you are here, have fun. And no better fun than
Punching above your weight class?
giving it back to the rascals. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get me something to drink real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, I think I stopped coughing for now. I definitely need to get that checked out. So anyways, please, if I misunderstood anything he says, let me know in the comments below, because I'm trying to understand. It's a little bit hard to understand if he's talking about metaphorically speaking or literal. I think for the most part he speaks more metaphorically in terms of at least the punching up part. Unless that is your thing, and that's a different story. But I would say, like, if you're gonna go out, why would you want to go to suffering? Why not to something blissful? So, for example, the things that you love in this life. Why at the end of your days are you gonna go fighting someone? Why not be at peace with people that you love, the things that you love around you? That being, say, your business, which, is something that you could love. It could be helping people. Like, find, like, your job could be, the business that you start could be helping homeless find houses. And the people around you that you love, that you took care of, and that they thank you so much for, like, helping them out, I don't know. It's everyone's a little bit different, but don't forget the option of, if you're about to go, you can be around loved ones or things that you enjoy. Why not the last memory that you have of this body would be from something that's joyful? I mean, instead of swinging at someone. And I kind of understand her situation. Like, fear can be a good thing, but also it can be quite the hindrance. I mean, she seems to be very fearful, I'm assuming, because of the last statement that she said. She said his job is very fearful, and the fact that she says fearful or fear quite a lot in the last few sentences there. So she seems to be very afraid, generally speaking. Um, But yeah, it's like you need to be able to overcome that fear. Reasonable fear is good. Unreasonable fear is terrible. It's debilitating, as they say. So, anyways, I think I've said everything I need to say here. So, again, let me know if there's any. I did ask a few questions, and I know there's got to be things I'm missing here. Again, I'm trying to understand Acharya here by watching his videos and understanding what he means by certain words, or maybe certain phrases that he say that maybe it's not quite how I understand it and has a different meaning behind it, and try to understand that part as well. So anyways, if you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up the sound down below. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next vid.